It's very early. It's 6:05 in the morning, and yeah, we stayed here last night. It's kind of a nice resort. See that room? And how's that for a sunrise? Yeah, so we just dropped the girls off, or I should say the kids, at the airport yesterday, and we're on the drive back. So we got down to this area. This is Prachuap Kiri Khan, and yeah, we were looking for somewhere to stay, and we thought we'd splurge a bit, you know. So this is, well, it was still my birthday yesterday, and this is kind of the first time that, you know, we've just been the two of us. You know, the kids have officially flown the nest. So yeah, we thought we'd just splurge a bit and, you know, live it up. So both our daughters have gone over to the UK. Our eldest, she's already graduated uni, and our youngest, she's about to go to college, and she's going to do some government-sponsored course over there. Yeah, so we're kind of lucky, I guess. Our daughters, because they were born in Thailand, so they got Thai citizenship, and because I'm British and I'm their father, that means they're also entitled to get British citizenship. So they have dual nationality, which is good for them, you know, because that means they can come and go as they please. Unlike their mum and me, I have to do all the visa and work permit and everything, all the stuff over here. And same for my wife, whenever she goes to the UK, she has to get visas, and it's just so much easier for our kids. That's spectacular, isn't it? Look at that. Really amazing. And all these coconut trees all along here. There are actually some people here. I thought this is going to just be completely deserted, but there are actually some people, but I don't think there are any tourists. In the place where we're staying, there are only 2 rooms that were taken last night. It really is off the tourist trail here, and I'm really glad about that. Oh, there's a guy in that boat out there, a fishing boat. I don't know if you can see that. Not that far away, may look a long way off on the video here. And this place we're staying at is called Scenery, and the SEA, they're all capitalised, so C and Nuri. So there are actually some people, but I think they're just locals doing a bit of exercise, and there's nothing here. It's just someone's house, that's it. And this resort we're staying at. Really nice. Last night it was getting on a bit. It was getting towards dusk, and I went in for a bit of a swim in the sea, and that lasted 1 minute 34 seconds as I got stung by jellyfish. They got me on my arm and my chest, so yeah, I probably won't try that again. Not bad ones, just, you know, it's kind of make you jump, and you just kind of think, okay, that's enough. I won't be doing any more of that. Not that painful. And they do have quite a lot of jellyfish around the coast of Thailand, they even have the box jellyfish. That thing is nasty. Because with the kids, we went down to, or up to, I should say, to Nakhon Si Thammarat. We stayed at this beautiful place, Sichon. And we were just messing around in the water with my girls. And a box jellyfish got me. Whoa, that. It was unlike any other jellyfish sting. You know, it was like something slaps you. It doesn't just, wrap its tentacles around you and just sting. This actually, it's like someone literally slaps you. That was really unusual. I haven't been stung like that before. That was, I guess, probably the first time in my life I was stung by a box jellyfish. Probably. And yeah, it was quite distinct, unlike any other jellyfish sting I've had, and I've had quite a lot. There was a time I was swimming in the sea round where we live. Again, it was a, sort of desolate beach, nobody around. And it was this red jellyfish. I remember seeing it, and it had very long tentacles. I saw it in the water, and quite a long way from me. And didn't really worry about it, just remembered to steer clear of it. But it must have drifted over or something, and it got me. It really wrapped itself around me in that. That was very painful. Probably one of the most painful, I would say. The box jellyfish, even though it's rumoured to be one of the most dangerous, or I think the most venomous creatures on Earth, the box jellyfish. It's actually painful for a very short amount of time. But this other red jellyfish I got stung by, so like the locals, they were calling it a fire jellyfish. That thing, wow, that went on for hours and hours. And it was that painful that I was like trying anything to get rid of the pain. I'm just going to show you something right now. There's something called, the locals call Pakbung Tale, and it's right here. This is Pakbung Tale, and what you do is you just take one of these leaves, like that, you just tear a bit off, and there's some sap inside it, and you just grind it up in your hand and rub it on your stings, jellyfish stings. This is when I first moved to Songkhla, to the province of Songkhla. So again, I got stung by jellyfish, and the locals said to do this, to get this Pakbung Tale, grind it up in your hands, like just squish it up in your hands and rub that on the sting. And it really works. It's amazingly good. People say, Westerners, they say, oh, you've got to get vinegar. Well, I've tried that. It's no comparison. Really not at all. I mean, that time I got stung by that red jellyfish. I was in serious pain. Like, you can't really concentrate on anything because it hurts that much, that sort of pain. And so I got this and put that on there, and that did help to some extent, but it was still very, very painful. So then I went to a local convenience shop, a 7-Eleven, and bought some vinegar, just a little bottle of vinegar, and thought that might be better. It really wasn't. No comparison. This stuff was much better, 10 times better. But still, I was still in a lot of pain. And so I think I drove then about an hour home. And yeah, that was not a pleasant experience. Even the box jellyfish didn't hurt that much compared to this kind of large, probably the size of my fist. Long tentacles. I remember that when I saw it the first time. And I didn't actually see it when it got me. I just felt it, and boy, did that hurt. It was like being burnt. Really painful. Yeah, so this is the stuff. everyone. Pakbong Tale, the locals call it. There's loads of it, like pretty much all around the coast of Thailand. You see, again, all around here, it's just sort of zigzagging all over the place here. So, on a long trip, I mean, it's almost 1,000 kilometers from our home to Bangkok, which is actually the same for us to drive to Singapore, I think. I actually checked it once. It's about the same distance to go from where we live in Songpa, in Hat Yai, Songpa, to Bangkok is almost 1,000 kilometers. So it's something like 900 and something. But by the time you've zigzagged around and got a bit lost and all that, then yeah, it's about 1,000. And then obviously the same back, so it's going to be 2,000 kilometers over 3 days. So we started on the 29th. It's now the 31st of July. So the first day of driving, we got up to Hue Hin and stayed there the night with the kids, and then we got them to the airport. I think it was about 11:30 in the morning. We got them up to Suvarnabhumi airport. Oh, the sun's just coming up there now. Really beautiful. Yeah, so we got them up to the airport, and then we started our drive back down. So this is where we got to yesterday before we called it a night, and this is a little bit further south than Hue Hin where we stayed. It's actually quite a way past Hue Hin. Morning. Westerner walking his dog there. I didn't think I was going to see any Westerners here, but yeah, there's one. He's probably living here or something. Mind you, I think most of the foreigners we see here now live here. You know, Thailand, they had a lot of tourists that were stuck here, and you know, during the beginning of the pandemic. And Thailand was really good to them, you know. They were extending visas and, you know, not giving them any hassle or anything. They were being really good. And even some that were really stuck and desperate, they were even helping, you know, by... I don't think they actually gave them accommodation in the end, but, you know, they were going out of their way to help these tourists who were just stuck and desperate. And there were quite a few of them. You know, there were the tourists who ran out of money, and you know, they just didn't know what to do. So yeah, Thailand was really good. They really helped out the tourists. And yeah, so they did in the end. They sort of said, okay, well, you know, enough's enough. You need to kind of get back to your own countries now. And they didn't force everyone out, but they just made it a bit more difficult. When I think it was the end of the second wave, you know, the cases are still extremely low in Thailand. You know, the rest of the world, they were having a harder time than Thailand did back in those days. So Thailand started to make it a bit more difficult for the tourists who were stuck here. Basically saying, you know, that's enough now. You can all go back home. And you know, so the long-term residents here were obviously, we weren't directly affected by that, but it did start to make it a bit more awkward for us as well. Yeah, and so now I guess, well, Phuket, they've got that sandbox thing, and that's not going all that well at the moment. They've got quite a lot of cases in Phuket. I think they're up to, I think the last count was something like 50 cases. I think that was yesterday. 50 cases a day. And this was way over the limit that they set for the sandbox, the Phuket Sand Box, which is this safe place for tourists to arrive. And it was a good idea. You know, the Thai government, they came up with this idea and decided that any tourists who had been vaccinated, they could come over, you know, doubly vaccinated, fully vaccinated. They could come over and stay in Phuket Sand Box, which was like a place that was safe, a kind of safe environment, because the government rushed to get everybody on the island vaccinated, which they did, and they got up to 70% very quickly of all the residents of the island were vaccinated, and you know, that was really good. I mean, there's two sides to that. You know, they did it at the expense of everyone else in the country, but still, you know, at least they got one area that was relatively safe. And that was, my mind's just going off in all directions at the moment. I get probably something to do with the driver, or it's just me, and I'm usually like that anyway. So where was I? Yeah, so all the tourists have been told you can come to Thailand, it's safe, and you can stay in Phuket. Now if you're doubly vaccinated, you know, that's your passport to come. So it's this vaccine passport, and I know that's not going down well in a lot of places. And yeah, so they're all, you know, the plan was they were going to pack the planes and get thousands of tourists coming in a week, and it didn't quite pan out like that. I think they got close to 3,000 total, and it's been going for over a month now. Yeah, it didn't really pan out as they wished. There's a strange thing up there. Let's go and investigate that. This looks like is it a gravestone? It looks like it. Gravestone or memorial or something, I don't know. Anyway, sidetracked again. So yeah, Phuket Sand Box. And now they're you know, the governor of Phuket, he set this limit. He said if the cases get to more than 90 a week in total, then they may have to reconsider the sandbox. And you know, that didn't take too long to happen, and now it's completely surpassed 90. It's up to, you know, the last time I checked on the news, total cases, it was over 150. So it's probably closer to 200-300 by now per week. And yeah, so the governor, he's just said, okay, well, we'll just have to introduce some restrictions, but we're not going to bin the sandbox. So they didn't bin it. It's still going, but the tourists are not really turning up. And there were a few cases where there was a lady and a local news channel on YouTube called the Tiger. They made a video of this case of this lady. I believe she's German, and she sat next to an infected passenger. And when they got to the airport in Phuket, he was tested and it came back positive. And she had already gone off to her hotel. You know, she wasn't in quarantine or anything like that. She was, yeah, I think, you know, as long as you test negative at the airport, you're kind of free to wander. And so she was, you know, starting off her new holiday in Phuket. I think she had actually gone out on a, you know, walked around and stuff, not outside the hotel. And then all of a sudden the staff got in touch with her and said she had to relocate to a quarantine hotel. So she had to pack all her stuff, get her bags, and she was just really confused, you know. Nobody told her what it was all about, why, or anything like that. They just said, no, you've got to pack your stuff and move to this other hotel. So she did. And yeah, it turns out she had been sitting next to an infected passenger. And so they forced her relocation to a specific hotel that was catering for quarantine passengers. And then she had to pay for that. So she'd already paid for her own hotel, you know, on this whole Phuket Sand Box thing. And then they forced her out of there and put her into this other hotel. And she had to pay a lot of money for that. And it was a lot of money. It was quite expensive. Yeah, poor woman. So this news channel, there's an Aussie guy called Tim. He is, I think he's, I don't know, the founder of this news channel, Tiger. I'll write that up for you, Tiger. So it's Thai and then G-E-R. Yeah, so he got hold of this story, and he did quite a good job of it. You know, he was saying, you know, you've got to contact your embassy. You know, don't just let them walk all over you. Stand up for yourself, and you know. And then he was having chats with her, live chats, and had sort of consultants on the show, and that there was an American lawyer who was a consultant, and he was giving her advice and stuff. It was really good. You know, I thought, wow. That's an example of foreigners looking out for each other over here, and I was really impressed. It was very nice. Anyway, I'm just waffling about everything. There's another one of those. Can you see that? That's another one of those. I don't know. Isn't it a gravestone or I don't know. There's a few of them there. There's another one back there. So yeah, that's at least 3 we've seen. Yeah. And the sun's coming out. Look at that. Beautiful. Alright, anyway, I'll just get on with walking now. So thanks for joining me, and yeah, get back to you again soon. Bye.